every New Yorker, no matter their faith, no matter where they were born, no matter who they are, deserves a city that they can afford and a place that they will be safe and able to build a family and a life.
Just a few months ago, Zohran Mamdani was still largely unknown. Today he's the frontrunner to become the next mayor of New York and its 8.5 million residents. Who is he, and what could his election mean for Trump's America? 34-year-old Mamdani was born in Uganda to a family of Indian descent. He's lived in the US since the age of 7 and became a naturalized American citizen in 2018. His mother, Meera Nair, is a filmmaker, and his father, Mahmoud Mamdani, a renowned historian and professor at Columbia University. Zohran studied at Bowdoin College in Maine, a university known as a bastion of progressive thought, where he was a staunch advocate for the Palestinian cause. Although initially drawn to music, Mamdani quickly became involved in politics. In 2020, he was elected to New York's State Assembly to represent Queens. The borough is a melting pot of predominantly poor and migrant communities. Since then, Mamdani's built an image as a progressive Muslim, equally comfortable at a pride march as he is breaking fast during Eid.
You know, frankly, a Muslim candidate for mayor of New York is an enormous story, especially at a moment where the war in Gaza has taken so much global attention.
Part of the left-leaning camp of the Democratic Party, Mamdani identifies as a socialist. US President Donald Trump calls him a little communist. Though they are fundamentally opposed, Donald Trump and Zohran Mamdani are both establishment outsiders who have shaken up their respective camps. In June, the young Queens representative surprised many by winning the Democratic primary for New York's mayoral race. His victory was largely attributed to a campaign that combined massive social media use with traditional grassroots efforts, mobilizing an army of volunteers for door-to-door canvassing. But above all, it's his focus on the cost of living that has resonated. Mamdani aims to make one of the world's most expensive cities affordable. 1 in 4 residents in New York City cannot afford essentials like housing and food.
We believe that buses should be fast, and we believe that housing is far too expensive. We're going to build hundreds of thousands of affordable homes, take on bad landlords, and freeze the...
Mamdani has vowed to introduce rent controls, free daycare and buses, and a network of city-run neighborhood grocery stores. He plans to fund his costly program by increasing taxes on corporations and the rich. However, as mayor of New York City, he wouldn't be able to implement these measures alone. They'd require state approval. The difficulty of finding funding for his proposals and his lack of experience are some of the main points his opponents use to attack him.
If you were electing someone to be executive director of an NGO that had a $40 million a year budget, you would not be confident in Mamdani's experience. And he's running to be the mayor of a city with a budget that runs to almost $100 billion.
Nevertheless, by appealing to young people and working-class communities, Mamdani has managed to widen the gap with his closest competitor, Andrew Cuomo. The former governor of New York State was aiming for a comeback after a sex scandal saw him resign his post in 2021. Even after losing the primary, the veteran centrist Democrat maintained his candidacy for the mayoral election as an independent. Mamdani has managed to connect with a portion of the youth who are disengaged from politics. So could his campaign offer the Democratic Party a way to win back Americans? According to a Wall Street Journal poll from July, Democrats are viewed negatively by 63% of voters, the party's lowest approval rate in over 30 years.
It is striking to me. I mean, I have not seen a Democratic candidate who has this kind of a following in a very long time. And it's bordering on kind of cult-like, right? The reason I say that is because he fits a very fascinating cultural niche, right? He's from the global South, but he's from extreme privilege. And because of that, he moves through all these worlds with great ease.
For some analysts, Mamdani is proof that the American left can re-energize and find success. But what works in New York is difficult to replicate across the country. With its diverse population, shaped by successive waves of immigration, the metropolis is historically left-leaning. The rest of the United States is likely not ready for the policies of a self-proclaimed socialist.
a victory here in New York will give hope and inspiration to people throughout our country and throughout the world.
Figures of the American left, including Senator Bernie Sanders and New York Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, have expressed their support for Mamdani. However, most of those in the moderate wing of the Democratic Party have refrained from endorsing him, including Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, himself a New Yorker. Some Democrats fear Mamdani is too far left and may harm the party. He's previously criticised the police as corrupt and racist, and his stance on Israel, which he's described as an apartheid regime, has drawn anger from some in the Jewish community. In recent months, Mamdani has made a point of denouncing anti-Semitism. Despite his meteoric rise, and regardless of where he goes next, Mamdani will never be able to run for president. Only US-born citizens are able to stand for the top job.